Hey everyone, welcome back to Test Walkthroughs. In this video, we're going to be going over the SAT Math section number 4 for the October 2020 exam. I'm going to be breaking this video into two separate parts because it is going to be too long. I'm going to be doing questions number 1 through 20 in this video, and shortly thereafter, in part 2, we're going to be doing the rest from questions 21 through 38. So without further ado, question number 1. All right, so 2n equals to negative 22. 2n, let's see if I can just write it out. Change it to my writing utensil. 2n equals to negative 22. Divide by 2 on both sides, n equals to negative 11. Answer is B for number 1. The ratio of trumpets to violins. So trumpets to violins in a particular music classroom is 1 to 3. And if there are 9 trumpets, so there are 9 here, how many violins are there? So this will be my x. So 1 to 9, and then 3 to x. So 1 times x equals to 3 times 9. So x is equal to 27. The answer is D for number 2. It's a ratio problem. Number 3 refers to the chart up here. For which of the following surfaces is the range of albedos the greatest? So range, we have minimum and maximum. And if we look for range, let's do some quick comparison between these numbers. And it looks like the biggest range should be from snow because it's going to be 0.84 minus 0.41 is about 0.43. 0.43. I don't think any of these other numbers will give you something that big. So 3 should be snow, which is D. In the desert region, the amount of sunlight falling on the surface of an area of 1 square meter is 1,000 watts, which the following could be the amount of sunlight in watts reflected on the 1 square meter surface. So we need to look at the equation here. Did they give anything? And albedo is the amount of reflected divided by the amount of light falling. So for number 4, we should say reflected over falling gives you albedo. All right, so we have falling amount of 1,000 watts. So I'm just going to put my work over here. So we don't know the amount reflected. That's our x. The falling is 1,000 watts. And we're going to have an albedo. So the albedo's range for desert is between 0.26 to 0.29. So the answer on the right should be 0.26 to 0.29. So if we were to multiply 1,000 on both sides, we're going to get x is going to be some value between 260, because we moved the 3 spots, to 290. So x is some answer between 260 and 290. And we look at all our answer choices. The answer should be A, 275. For number 5, the table shows the distribution by breed and sex of dogs that receives a vaccine from a veterinarian during the month of July. If a male dog received a vaccine during the month of July selected at random, so male dogs, there's 10 male dogs, what's the probability that the dog is an Alaskan Malamute? So that'll be 6 out of 10, which is about 0.60. The answer should be C for number 5. Number 6, of the following, which is the most appropriate linear model for the given data? We have a negative slope. So that means that we should have a negative coefficient in front of the x. So it should be negative nx, where n is some negative number. So we're going to get either answer choices B or D because we have a negative x here. And then the y-intercept looks like it's a positive 7. This is a negative 7 for answer choice B, so B is no longer possible. So the answer should be D with a positive 7 as a y-intercept. So for number 6, the answer is D. Number 7, the area of a square is 36. So this is x and x. What is the length in inches of a side of the square? So x squared is equal to 36. X should equal to 6. The answer should be B for number 7. Number 8, the graph shows the average heart rate for 15 people before, during, and after a period of strenuous exercise. The horizontal axis shows time in minutes, and the vertical shows average heart rate. and beats per minute. The exercise period began at 5 minutes, so it began at 5 minutes and ended at 15 minutes. Okay, so here and here. So this is beginning and this is end. All right, approximately how many minutes did it take after the exercise period ended for the average heart rate to first return to the average heart rate before the exercise period began? So they're basically saying, when did it get back to this point? So this point over here is about 24 minutes. So that's 24 minutes. And it ended at 15 minutes. So 24 minus 15 is about 9 minutes. So the answer should be A. That is going to be for number 8. Answer 8. Number 9. Markella opens a bank account that earns interest at a rate of 2% compounded annually. She puts $200 in the account. So 200 is the principal starting amount. And then doesn't make any more deposit withdrawals for 2 years. If the amount of money account after 2 years is represented by this, okay, so the equation, they actually gave us the equation here, and this is the number of years, which the following gives the amount of money after only 1 year. Okay, so then that means you just change this 2 into a 1. So the answer here should be B. So you get the starting amount, you get the interest, which is the 0.2 on top of the 1, and then you put this to the first power. So the answer is B for number 9. Number 10, 3x equals to 8y, and x and y are positive, which of the following equals to 40y. So 3x is equal to 8y, and we want 40y. So what we'll do is we'll multiply by 5. So we'll times this by 5 as well. So 3x times 5, we'll get 15x, and 15x is equal to 40y. The answer is D for number 10. Number 11, based on the model, how many teachers are predicted to be in high school in 2017? Okay, what model are we talking about here? Okay, yeah, so this model. It says in the given equations, model the number of teachers and number of students. In the equation, n is the number of years, where n is a whole number less than or equal to 15. The predicted number of teachers is represented by Tn, and Sn is for students. So Tn. So we're looking for this top equation in 2017. So 2017 is the full number of 15 years. So we're going to do 2, T of 15 is equal to 80 plus 15. So we're going to get 95. So T of 15 is equal to 95. The answer is C. 12. Which of the following is the graph of the function of S? All right, so let's take a look at S. So the student here looks like it has a slope of 30n and it has a y-intercept of 1,280. So which one looks like it has a y-intercept of 280? So A looks like it's a possibility because of the 280 here. This also looks like it's a possibility because of the 1,280. And D also looks like it's a possibility because of the 1,280. But C is gone because the y-intercept is way too low. And then we're looking for a slope of, what was the slope? 30. So we need to slope. M equals to 30, slope. So which one looks like it has a slope of 30 as we increase it 1 by 1? It looks like between answer choices, well, B is out because it has a negative slope. So between choices A and D, D looks like it's too flat. It hasn't increased at all. And A looks like it's increasing just enough for about 30 per year. So answer choice is A for number 12. And for number 13, based on the model, what is the first year in which the predicted number of teachers will be greater than 90? So let's look at the teacher equation again. The teacher equation is T of n equals to 80 plus n. Okay, so T of n is equal to 80 plus n. And we want this number to be greater than 90. So we're going to set that number to be greater than 90. Let's subtract 80, subtract 80. We're going to get 10 less than n. So that means n has to be a number greater than 10. So if we started in 2002, I believe, yes? Yes, 2002. And we're going to want to add a number that's greater than 10. So let's add 11. So that means that by 2013, we're going to have greater than 90. The answer should be B. 14. Based upon this, it says the mass of the, let me see, the table above shows the mass in kilograms and lengths of centimeters of the largest known specimens of the 9 most massive types of turtles and tortoises. The mean mass of the 9 turtles and tortoises is approximately 331. The mass of the Aldabara giant tortoise is closest to the mean mass. Which of the following is true about the length of the Aldabara giant tortoise in relation to the median length of the 9 turtles? Okay, so we're trying to compare the medians right now. So there's a total of 9 different turtles and tortoises. So the fifth value from least to greatest is going to be the median value in this set of data of 9 animals. So what we can do here is, let's go from the smallest one. So the smallest length is the alligator snapping. So that's number 1. Second is the flatback. That's number 2. And then we have 3 and 4 tied. And then the next one after that is 140 for the green sea turtle. So the green sea turtle or tortoise is the median number. So that's 140. We're going to compare that to the median. And the median was 140. And what are we asking about? The Aldabara? The Aldabara. All right, the Aldabara is 150. Okay, so there's a difference of 10 centimeters. Aldabara is 10 more. So let's see. Which of the following is true about the length of the Aldabara? Okay, so it is 10 centimeters longer than the median of 140 because it's comparing 150 to 140. So the answer is C for number 14. Number 15. Each of the box plots shown summarizes a data set. Dataset A has a range of 130 and dataset B has a range of 80. If the two datasets are combined into one dataset, what's the range of the combined dataset? So maximum minus minimum, the maximum of B is 160, and then we combine it with A, the minimum is probably down over here. That looks like this number is approximately 10. So 160 minus 10 is about 150, so the range is C, 150 for number 15. 16. At the beginning of a study, the number of bacteria in the population is 150,000. The number of bacteria doubles every hour for a limited period of time. For this period of time, what is the equation models the number of bacteria after X number of hours? So we have 150,000. It's going to double, so we multiply by 2. It's going to be every hour of X. So the answer here should be B for number 16 because it matches the doubling exponential equation. Number 17. If x and y are solutions to given set of equations, which of the following could be the value of x? So we can set these two values equals to each other. X plus 3, x minus 7, and that equals to x minus 7. We can divide both sides by x minus 7. And then these cross out. This cross out and leaves a 1. So we get x plus 3 is equal to 1 minus 3 minus 3. We get x equals to negative 2. Unfortunately, that's not a possible answer, maybe because it has two solutions. So the other way that I would do this is we can either start plugging in numbers. Let's see if that works, because sometimes that works a little bit faster. Plug in negative 7, doesn't work. Negative 3. Like 3 is 0, but then this one doesn't give you 0. All right, so let's try plug in 7. I think this will work if we plug in 7. If we plug in 7, look what happened. Get y is equal to 7 plus 3 times 7 minus 7, and y equals to 0. And then for the second equation, we get y equals to 7 minus 7, which is y is also equal to 0. Aha, okay, so it both works. For number 17, by plugging in, we get the answer is D for x equals to 7. Okay, moving on to number 18. The speed of a lightning bolt is approximately 320 million feet per second. What is the speed in yards per minute? So we have 320 million feet, and this is in millions, and they're trying to ask us to convert to yards. So we'll take 320 million feet. We're going to divide that by 3 feet per yard. And if I get that in my calculator, I'm going to say 320 divided by 3. I'm going to get 106 2/3 yards. And this is occurring every single second right now. And we want it per minute. So what we should do is, if this is 106 2/3 yards, for every 1 second. We can multiply that by 60 seconds for every 1 minute. And we do that on our calculator, we get 6,400. And again, this is going to be in millions already. So the units is in millions. So the answer for number 18 is C. For number 19, the number of students enrolled in a certain university T years after 1969 can be modeled by the function of S above for 0 is less than or equal to T, less than or equal to 33. The constant of the term 10,268 in the function is the estimate of which of the following. So in any of these equations, this is always representing the constant or the starting number of students at any beginning of the equation. So it says T years after 1969. So this would be 0 years after 1969. So this is the number of kids in the school in 1969. The answer is A for number 19. Number 20. A company found that the average customer rating of a certain product can be used to estimate the total income from that product according to the equation of y equals to 44x plus 500. So that's a linear equation. Y is the income in dollars. X is the average customer rating. Which of the following best describes the slope of the graph of the equation in the xy plane? So the best way to talk about this is just asking you the definition of slope. So that means for every one change in x, so every time x changes one time, y is going to change 44 in this instance, okay? So what does x mean in this equation? Is the average customer rating, and y equals to the income. So that means, if we look at this, for every one increase in the average customer rating, which is x, the estimated increase in income is 544. Well, it's not going to be 544. It should be 44. So for every increase of 1 in the average customer rating, the estimated increase in income is 44. So the answer for number 20 is D. Number 21 is asking us if 2y minus y equals to 3 and 4x minus y is also equal to 3, how many solutions does the system of equations have? Okay, so to do this one, you're basically trying to see if the slopes of these two equations are either equal or not equal. So I'm going to set them equal to y equals mx plus b. So I get 2x minus 3 is equal to y for the first equation. For the second equation, I get 4x minus 3 is equal to y. So what I see over here is that these two equations have different slopes, okay? That means that if two lines have two different slopes, they're going to have one equation in common. So the answer should be B. And it just so happens to be that the solution should be 0, comma, negative 3, which is the y-intercept for both equations. So number 21, the answer is B. Number 22. The graph of y equals to Rx is shown in the xy plane. If A, B, and C are positive constants, which of the following could define the function of R? Okay, so the way to do this one is if you take a look at all of the graph itself, we notice how we have a negative parabola. Negative parabola means that it is basically concave downwards. So that means that the number in front of the coefficient here has to be negative. So if A and B and C are positive constants, that means that you should put a negative sign in front of A to make it flip downwards. So we know it's not C or D. Next, the parabola had moved to the right. So if you move to the right, what you do is you need to have a negative constant inside. So basically, if B is a positive number, you should negate it so that the parabola will move to the right. If it's a positive, like in answer choice B, then that means the parabola should move to the left. Since our parabola here actually moved to the right from the center of the y-axis, that means that the answer should be A. Number 23. X squared minus 2 is over x minus radical 2. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression above for x is not equal to radical 2? So the equation above over here can be simplified, actually, if you break down into factors. So the top is going to be x plus the square root of 2 times x minus the square root of 2. And the bottom is going to be x minus the square root of 2. And if you do the FOIL over here, you should get back this. So that means top and bottom here cross out. Oops, sorry. I'm going to rewrite that. Top and bottom over here will cross out, and you get left with x plus square root of 2. The answer is D for number 23. 24. Which of the following represents the positive number r increased by 5%? So r is going to be increased by 5%. So what you do is you take r and you're going to add 0.05% of r to it, and that represents an increase of 5%. So if I take 1r plus 0.05r, I'm going to get 1.05r. The answer is C. 25. What is the median of the data set summarized in the frequency table? Okay, so in order to find the median, we take a look at the frequency. So let's see how many numbers do we actually have over here. So we have 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17 numbers. Okay, so right now there are 17 numbers. Okay, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17. Yes, so we need to find the middle number of 17. So what we do is we take 17 divided by 2. It gives us 8.5. So the median number will be the 9th number in the sequence. So if we try to find the 9th number in the sequence, we're going to get one number. There's going to be 5 numbers here. 5 plus 2 is 7 numbers. So then there's 3 numbers extra here. So the value is 4. So the 9th number is going to be the number 4, or one of the numbers is going to be number 4. The answer is C for number 25. Sorry about that. Let me just go back down to the question numbers. Okay, number 26. An airplane uses approximately 5 gallons of fuel per mile flown. If the plane has 60,000 gallons of fuel at the beginning of a trip and flies at an average speed of 550 miles per hour, which of the following function estimates the amount of remaining fuel, AT, in gallons, T hours after the trip began? Okay, so to do this problem, let's first break it down in terms of, let's say, 5 gallons of fuel per mile flown, 60,000 gallons of fuel. Okay, so if this plane is going at 550 miles per hour, let's figure out how many gallons of fuel it actually uses. So at 550 miles, you're going to be multiplying by 5 gallons for every mile flown. So you can take 550, multiply it by 5, and that will actually equal to 2,750 gallons of fuel that's used every hour right now by the plane. Because when it flies 550 miles, it needs to use 2,750 gallons of fuel, because every 5 gallons are used for every mile. Okay, now you're trying to figure out the amount of remaining fuel after T number of hours. Well, if this is 2,750 gallons per hour, then you can take 60,000 minus 2,750 T, because T will represent the number of hours that are being flown. So the answer here should be D for number 26. 27. 3x squared plus bx plus 5 equals to 0. For the quadratic equation shown, b is some kind of constant. If the equation has no real solutions, which of the following must be true? So if the equation has no real solutions, you use the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. That has to be less than 0. So in this equation, a is equal to 3, b is equal to b, and c is equal to 5. If you guys don't know the discriminant equation, make sure you look it up. So in this case, b squared minus 4 times 3 times 5, when we know that has to be less than 0. B squared minus 60 has to be less than 0. B squared is going to be less than 60. The answer here should be A. '28. Lines Q and R in the xy plane are perpendicular and they intersect at the origin. If line R passes through 1 comma K, what is the equation of line Q? Okay, so we have two lines that are perpendicular to each other. So that means that the slopes have to be reciprocals. Reciprocals, okay? So let's see. Line R passes through 1 comma K, and we also know it passes through the origin. So let's find the equation or the slope for line R first. Well, the equation, I guess. So we have 0 comma 0 and 1 comma K. First, we need to find the slope. So we're going to take K minus 0 over 1 minus 0. And we're going to get a slope of K over 1, which is equal to K. So the slope of line R right now is equal to K. We also know that they intersect the origin, so we know that the equation is equal to y is equal to K for the first line. Or y is equal to, y equals to K times x. So if we're trying to find the equation of the perpendicular line, we're going to take the reciprocal of the slope. So the reciprocal of K is 1 over K. And you also need to negate it. It's the reciprocal and it's the negative reciprocal, by the way. Sorry. So the perpendicular line has a negative reciprocal slope. So the slope is equal to negative 1 over K. And so the full equation is y is equal to negative 1 over K times x. And if we were to multiply that out, that would be y is equal to negative x over K. The answer is equal to B. Answer choice B for number 28. 29. In the figure above, the circle has a center at O. What is the area of the shaded region? Okay, so to do this problem, what I would recommend doing is that right now you have a 60-degree angle over here, right? So triple that. Triple that gives you 180 degrees. Why do we do 180 degrees? Because you could basically split up your triangle, your basically your circle here, your pi, into 3 parts here. So that one of your parts over here is going to be 60 degrees that they actually have in the picture. So again, you have 3 different parts and you split it up where one of the parts has a 60-degree angle. 60 times 3 gives you 180 degrees. So you find the area of half of a circle first. So if you have a radius of 4, the area of a circle with a radius of 4 is equal to 16 pi. You could divide that by 2 to get half of a circle, which is equal to 8 pi. And then you need to take a third of that in order to get all of this shaded region. So it'll be 8 pi over 3. Next. So that would be the area of everything. But you also now need to subtract the triangle in between. So in order to find the area of the triangle, remember you have a triangle. That's an equilateral. So this is 60 degrees here. This is a 4 of the base. So remember your 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. So if I was to split this up into a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle, this would be a 2. This would be a 60 degrees. This would be 2 radical 3. And then this will be 4 of the hypotenuse. So to find the area of the triangle, you'll take, so area of the triangle, area of triangle would be equal to 4 times 2 radical 3. And then if you divide that by 2, because you have to take half and multiply by base times height, you're going to get 4 radical 3. So you're intentionally basically trying to get 8 pi minus, 8 pi over 3 actually, because 8 pi over 3, because it's going to be 8 pi and then a third of it, minus 4 pi 4 radical 3. So your final answer should come out to be 8 pi over 3 minus 4 radical 3. So if I look at all these answers over here, let's see which one matches that. Answer choice D would match it, because if you take 1/3, you can multiply by 8 pi. You're going to get 8 pi over 3. And then if you take 1/3 times negative 12 rad 3, you're going to get minus 4 radical 3. So for number 29, the answer is D. Okay, number 30. It says, a survey asked a class of 30 students how many siblings they have. The number of students who have one sibling is 3 times the number of students, n, who have 2 or more siblings. If 6 students have no siblings, which of the following equations represents this situation? Okay, so they're saying right now the total class has 30 students. The number of students who have one sibling is 3 times the number of students, n, who have 2 or more. So n equals to number of students, 2 or more. And so therefore, the numbers who have one sibling is 3 times the number of n. So 3n is equal to number of students with one sibling. And then, and it says the number n who have 2 or more siblings. If 6 students have no sibling, and then there's 6 people with no siblings. Which of the following following equation represents the situation? So what you should do here is you take n. So let me erase some of the things over here. Let's see. Get ourselves some more space here. So what we have is we have n plus 3n plus 6, and that should give us 30 people. So 4n plus 6 equals to 30 people in the class. The answer here should be C for number 30. All right, 31. So this is the fill-in questions. You now have to put in your own answers. It says, the scatter plot shows the percent of flights with delayed departures and the percent of flights with delayed arrivals by departing airport for 10 U.S. airports in a certain one-year period. A line of best fit is shown. For how many of the 10 airports was the percent of flights with delayed arrivals less than predicted by the line of best fit? So to do this question, you just try to pick all of the dots that are below the line of best fit. So that's 1 dot, 2 dot, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer for number 31 is 6 airports. 32. The points in the figure below shown lie in the same plane. If triangle ABF is congruent to triangle EDG, where angle A corresponds to E, angle B corresponds to D, what is the measure in degrees of angle GCF? So that means that if they all correspond to each other, that means that these two triangles ABF and EDG are congruent to each other. So that means that this angle is 40, 40, and 40 in this triangle. So that means it's 80, which means that this angle here has to be 100 degrees. So you do 40 plus 100 is equal to 180 degrees in a triangle. So the answer is 100 for number 32. Number 33. The graph of the equation y equals mx plus b, where m and b are constants, is shown in the xy plane. What is the value of m? So they're asking you to find the slope of the line, because that's the value of m. So we have two coordinates here. The first coordinate is 0, 2. And the second coordinate is -2, -1. To find the slope of the line, you do change in y over change in x. So the change in y would be 2 minus -1 over 0 minus 2. And we'll get 3 over negative, well, not negative, sorry. It should be 0 minus -2, so it should be 3 plus 2. So it'd be 3 over +2, so the slope is equal to 3 over 2. All right, number 34. Eye spot is a disease in corn that is caused by a fungus. An agricultural researcher investigated whether the presence of eye spot necessitated treatment of cornfield using fungicide. The table shows the relationship between the presence of eye spot in a cornfield and the need for to use fungicide. According to the table, what fraction of the cornfields where an eye spot was observed needed fungicide? So it says what fraction of the cornfields where eye spot was observed. So one fraction of the cornfields where eye spots were observed. So how many eye spot observers were there? There was 40 total. And they said where eye spot needed fungicide, so that'd be 30. So that'd be 30 over 40, which is 3 over 4 for number 34. Number 35, the line graph shows the total length in miles of major commercial railroad tracks in the United States from 1916 to 1976. The average rate in change in miles per year of the total length of major commercial railroad tracks in the United States from 1916 to 1926 is M, what's about. So they want you to find the slope again from 1916 to 1926. So we are going to find it. So what's the change in Y? So we have this number here is 421. Let me write that down. 421,000 is going to subtract 397,000. And the change in the number of years is 10 years. So I'm just going to go to my handy calculator. I'm going to get 421 minus 397. That gives me 24,000. And then that's going to be divided by 10 years. Cross out the zeros. So the slope should be 2,400 should be the value of M. So 2,400 is the answer for number 35. Number 36. A painting crew painted a total of 20 houses in July. In August, the number of houses the crew painted was 20% more than the number of houses painted in July. What fraction of the total number of houses the crew painted in July and August were painted in August? Okay, so they painted 20 houses in July, and then in August, they painted 20% more. So we take 20, multiply it by 1.20. We're going to get 24 houses only in August, okay? And then it says, what fraction of the total number of houses the crew painted in July and August were painted in August? So they painted 24 houses in August. And the total number of houses they painted in both July and August was 20 plus 24. So we get 24 over 44. And if we simplify this fraction, divide top and bottom by, let's say, 4. So 28 divided by 4, 24 divided by 4 is equal to 6. 44 divided by 4 is 11. So let me just double check that. 24 divided by 4 is 6. 44 divided by 4 is 11. The answer is 6 out of 11. All right, for number 37. So let's see if we can get some space here. A car was listed for a price of $12,000. The price decreased by P% to get to $9,600. What is the value of P? So first find the difference in their values. Take 12,000 minus 9,600. 12,000 minus 9,600 gives you a difference of 2,400. Then you take 2,400 and you divide it by the original amount. And if you take that, divide by 12,000, you're going to get a change of about 0.2, which is about 20%. So that represented a 20% decrease. Number 38. You have to follow equations above. Okay, so A plus B equals to that. A minus B equals to that. For what for the system equation above, what is the value of the product of that? Okay. So the way I would do this is I would replace this with A, and then I would replace this with B. So I know that A plus B is equal to 37. A minus B is equal to 19. Let me try to add them together first. So what I get is, if I add the top to the bottom, I get 2A is equal to, let's see, 37 plus 19 gives me 56. And divide both sides by 2, I'm going to get A is equal to 28. Next, I could also solve for B. So what I'll do is I'll plug into the first equation. So I'm going to get 28. Let me see, just my writing utensil. I'm going to get 28 plus B is equal to 37. I'm going to minus 28, minus 28. B is equal to 9. So I now know that A is equal to 28 and B is equal to 9. And in this, they're just asking me for what is A times B, or basically what is these two things multiplied together. So 28 times 9. So if I do 28 times 9, I'm going to get 252. The answer for 38 is 252. And that is the conclusion of the math section of the SAT October 2020 exam. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, to this video also. Thank you very much for your time, guys, and happy studying.